Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I am coming to you live from Skyline Park in Brookline, Massachusetts. Here to bring you live coverage of today's high school varsity girls soccer contest between the visiting Flyers of Framingham High School and the hosting Brookline High Warriors. Brookline riding high into this one on a 3-game win streak. Record currently stands at 6-2-1, although actually in their latest MIAA Division I power rankings, their rating actually went down from 9th to 10th. You know, winning by just 1 goal against 19th rated Weymouth might have actually hurt a little bit because the calculations for the MIAA power rankings are based on your average margin and the average opponent's rating. So while I would contend that Weymouth might be stronger than their record would suggest, you know, that's just the way the cookie crumbles in regards to power ratings. Their opponent coming in today, the Framingham High Flyers, enter with a record of 2-3-4, 2 wins, 3 losses, 4 draws, and they enter 28th in the power rankings. So if the season were to end now, they would clinch a playoff spot in Division I, but they are on the fringes at the moment, fighting to stay in the playoff picture. So it should make for an interesting one today. Remember, as always, if you end up enjoying this live stream, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my upcoming live streams. And if there's anything you would like to say, I encourage you to say it in the live chat. Could be as simple as go Brookline or go Framingham. No matter who you're rooting for, we appreciate fans bringing the good vibes and supporting their team in the live chat. If you want to give a shout out to a specific player, that's plenty good reason. You might be watching a family member or a friend and want to give them a shout out in the live chat. Also, if you want to let us know where it is you're tuning in from, that can be fun sometimes with these online live streams that can be watched all over the world. If you notice any technical difficulties going on with the stream, something wrong with the video or the audio, then I encourage you to speak up and say something in the live chat. It might be something that I don't notice on my end, and it might be an easy fix. And then, of course, as I always say, if I am flubbing the pronunciation of anyone's names, please correct me in the live chat. Let me know how I should be saying them. I want to give these young ladies the best coverage I possibly can, and to me, part of that means getting their names right. And on that note, let's take a look at the rosters for the two teams coming in today. Let's start off with the visitors. Over on the right, you see the Framingham High Flyers warming up in their white jerseys with dark blue jersey numbers. Let's read through the roster for Framingham. Going in order of jersey number for the Flyers, first off, we have a senior, number 1, Kaylee Faulkner. Next, a sophomore, number 2, Isabella Seacott. A junior, number 3, Sophia Carney. A sophomore, number 5, Ava Lombardo. A sophomore, number 6, Madison Steenberg. A senior, number 7, Alejandra Morales Guzman. A senior, number 8, Brooke Zanella. A freshman, number 9, Caitlin Last. A senior, number 10, Gabby Arpino. A sophomore, number 11, Alexi Sullivan. A freshman, number 12, Molly Donahue. A senior, number 13, Casey Kopaz. A freshman, number 14, Aranza Ramirez. A freshman, number 15, Georgia Murphy. A sophomore, number 17, Nina Tijin Lemon. A sophomore, number 20, Ava Callahan. A senior, number 22, Kira Akanian. And a senior, number 24, Ella Terranova. Head coach of the Framingham High girls soccer team is Jen DeFusco. So that's the roster for Framingham, and now as warm-ups are starting to wrap up, let's go through the roster for the hosting Brookline High Warriors, who you can see in their blue jerseys with white outline jersey numbers. Let's run through that real fast as we're almost ready to get underway. In order of jersey number for Brookline, first off, a freshman, number 1, Paige Hammond. A sophomore, number 3, Jada Kimbrough. A junior manager, number 4, Ashley Cherwin. A junior co-captain with 2 goals and a team-leading 3 assists, number 5, Vilena Chernichev. A freshman with 2 assists, number 7, Haley Ament. A freshman, number 8, Juliana Siegel. A junior with 1 goal and 1 assist, number 9, McKenna Hammond. A senior captain with 4 goals, number 12, Amra Ukamadou. A sophomore, number 13, Julia Vianello. A sophomore with 1 assist, number 14, Mirabelle Kesselman. A junior, number 15, Babette Hall. A junior, number 16, Nora Shu. A sophomore with 1 assist, number 17, Lila Cannon. A junior captain with 1 goal and 1 assist, number 18, Anna Leshley. A junior captain with a team-leading 5 goals, number 19, Sydney Freeze. A sophomore, number 20, Amalia Lindgren-Palm. A junior, number 21, Greta Radke. A freshman, number 23, Jameson McGee. A senior with 1 goal, number 24, Emma Eisenhower. And the 2 goalies on Brookline's roster, a junior, Julia Cherwin, and a freshman, Chloe Price. Head coach of the Brookline High girls soccer team is Ben Peters. So those are your 2 rosters. Brookline against Framingham, Warriors versus Flyers. From Skyline Park in Brookline, Massachusetts, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, and you are watching Brookline High Soccer. Kick through, finds its target, freeze! There's the whistle. Shot is in! Sends a leading pass, crashing, Leshley scores! All right, we're about ready to get this one underway. The 2 teams out on the field. Framingham to get the opening possession here in the first half. They'll be playing from the right, Brookline from the left. Here we go. Kicked across midfield. It's going to be tracked by Brookline's Julia Vianello. Passed up the middle to Anna Leshley. Leshley sends it to the outside to Nora Shu. Up the line, deflects off the foot of McKenna Hammond. Collected on the far side by Sydney Freeze. Freeze tries to lead it. Knocked away from Hammond, out of bounds. Brookline ball. We got a beautiful sunny day out here at Skyline. The only thing is the sun can actually interfere with visibility with how bright it is today. As Framingham clears that one out, but it's intercepted by Leshley. A kick forward is knocked away again by the Flyers. Chasing after it now is Babette Hall. Sends it all the way back to the keeper, Julia Cherwin. Cherwin sending it out to the near side to Haley Ament, being pursued by Framingham's number 8, Brooke Zanella. Kicks it up the line, but ran out of room before she could kick it. This is going to be a throw-in for Framingham. Framingham's number 24, Ella Terranova, setting up to throw this one in. Throws it in to number 5, broken up by Amra Ukamadou, but it is kicked forward again by Terranova. Gets it up to number 13, Casey Kopaz. Pass back to number 10, Gabby Arpino. Knocked away by Vilena Chernichev. Knocked back forward by Framingham. Fighting for it, a touch to the outside for Zanella. Zanella now centering it back to Arpino. Arpino tries to kick one through, not enough force on that one, and it's taken away by Emma Eisenhower. Eisenhower's pass off the mark. Terranova boots it back, downed by Hall. Hall kicks it up the far side, headed away. Taken back by the Flyers, an attempted pass from number 22, Kira Icanian, out to number 3, Sophia Carney, misses the mark and goes out of bounds on the far side. Throw in is not out of bounds. Looks like it was going to go out of bounds, but Icanian did a good job keeping on playing it, but ultimately she did lose it out of bounds on the far side. Oh, but she got the favorable deflection. So extra good play from Icanian there. And now throws it in. Could not be kept in as they ran out of room on the back line. Was trying to get it to number 7, Alejandra Morales Guzman. Instead, it'll be a goal kick for Brookline. Sherwin quickly gives it to Hall. Over to Vianello, now up the middle to Leshley. Leshley still not out of her own box yet, as she sends it back to Hall, who kicks it up the far side, up to Freeze. Freeze back to the middle to Leshley. Leshley dribbling up the middle, sends a pass forward to Chernychev. Chernychev sending a leader down the far side. Freeze off to the races after it, and does track it down in the far corner. Gets around a defender, sends one to the middle, and it's kicked away. I believe it was Terranova who cleared that one all the way up to Acanian. Acanian racing up the far side, being chased by Leshley. Sends a pass forward, and it is collected by number 5, Ava Lombardo, but ran out of room once again, and it'll be, is this actually going to be a corner kick? I think it, is this a corner kick or a throw-in? I was looking at the roster, trying to keep up with names, and I missed which end it went out of. Looks like it is going to be a corner kick for the Flyers, so our first corner kick of the day comes in low, knocked back, but stays on the attack as Arpino taps it back to the outside. Another crosser through the box, knocked away by Leshley. Racing after it, McKenna Hammond fighting for it, and she wins the ball. Sends it up the near side for Ukamadou. Ukamadou collects it. Ukamadou racing up the near side. Sends in a shot. It's walled off by the Framingham defense and kicked out of bounds. So it'll be a throw-in after a nice defensive play. I think that was number 9, Caitlin Last. Throw-in goes back to Ukamadou. Ukamadou running out of room, and she did not get the favorable deflection, defended by Zanella. Goal kick coming up for the Flyers. Booted upfield, it goes off the head of Chernychev, back forward. Hammond couldn't get there in time. It's booted away by, I think, number 20, Ava Callahan. As Callahan now slides in, takes the ball away again. Now leaves it to the far side, sent upfield by Carney. And now after a couple passes, it's lost out of bounds. Quick throw in for Brookline, goes up to Freeze, pass back, taken away by Morales Guzman, and it's lost out of bounds. Throw in to Freeze. Freeze backing down against Carney, and Carney pokes it loose with a nice slide tackle. It's recovered by Eisenhower. Eisenhower dribbling, looking for a hole, sends one, goes past Hammond. Callahan chasing after it, gets there first, and takes the safe choice and kicks it out of bounds. Throw in. Hammond passes it back to Leshley, who sends it back for Vianello. Vianello sends it forward, gets to Ukamadu, but it's knocked away by Terra Nova, and that's just going to roll out of bounds. Brookline ball. Ament throws it in towards Hammond. Hammond kicks it forward for Ukamadu. Deflects away from the net, but Ukamadu chases it down, gets around a defender, but dribbles too far, and it's kicked away by the defense. I believe that was Zanella who kicked that. No, it wasn't. It was number 6, excuse me, as the goalie picks up that one. So I mistakenly identified that as number 9, Caitlin Last. It was not. It's number 6, Madison Steenberg. Goalie punts it. Deflected into the air by Chernychev, and Chernychev gets the ball. Surveying, now kicks a leader to an open Ukamadu, offsides. Ukamadu was isolated nicely on the near side, but just beyond the defenders. Callahan, the free kick towards midfield, deflects off of number 13, Kopaz, chased down by Zanella, passed back to Callahan. Callahan sends it forward, gets it to Kopaz. Kopaz dribbling across the middle, sends it out far side. Racing up with it now is a Canian. Try to pass, walled off by Hall. Recovered by Eisenhower, sent back to Ament, up to Leshley. Leshley manages to get a kick away upfield, and now it's a race, and McKenna Hammond has gotten past the defenders. McKenna Hammond charging in, shot saved! Rebound chased down by Hammond, pass back to Ukamadu. Ukamadu gets around a defender. Ukamadu charging in, her shot walled off by the defense, and it's going to draw a Brookline corner. A huge breakaway chance, walled off. Great play by the Framingham goalie to keep this one scoreless. And so now it will be a goal kick for Brookline. Sydney Freeze takes the goal kick, sends it into Leshley, back out to Freeze. Freeze now sends one into the box. It's intercepted and kicked away by Carney. Gets out to Zanella, now upfield. And Vianello walls off Lombardo, and it goes out of bounds. Throw in coming for Framingham. Zanella, throw in to Lombardo. And another kick walled off by Ament, and that will be another Framingham throw-in. Knocked down, scrum for the ball, and it's kicked out but recovered by Arpino. Arpino sends a long pass back, chased down by Carney, sent back to the keeper. Keeper kicks it up the middle, deflected. Eisenhower fighting for it. Eisenhower wins the 50-50 ball. Tripped up from behind, but they got ball. No, they didn't get ball. They got leg, and so that's going to be a penalty. Interesting free kick spot here for Brookline, like dead center horizontally, and a pretty decent distance. This is well within scoring range for Vilena Chernychev. And she sends through a low pass but misses, and it's kicked away by Callahan, and it's going to bounce out of bounds. Ament throws it into Chernychev, who kicks it forward again for Ament, kicked away by Terra Nova. Gets up to Lombardo, and she wins the ball against Vianello, and now Lombardo off to the races, but curving more to the outside. Vianello with the get-back speed, gets the favorable deflection, and it stays somehow in bounds as Lombardo gets back up and passes it away to number 11, now back to Terra Nova, and Ukamadu steals it away from number 11, Lexi Sullivan. Pass to the middle to Chernychev. Sent back to Hall now. Hall up the middle, broken up by Carney, but it goes right back to Hall. Now to the outside to Shu. Shu up the line to Freeze. Freeze takes off down the sideline. Stops. Starts up again, trying to gain the edge, running out of real estate, and it rolls out the back end. The dribble got away from her just as she was getting to the back end, and a smart box-out move by Callahan to enforce the out-of-bounds there, and it'll be a goal kick. Sails in, bounces, and knocked into open space where Callahan passes it to the outside to Carney, and now back to Callahan, across to Steenberg. Steenberg, her pass has to go back to the goalie as Ukamadou was applying the forward pressure. Popped up in the air, it bounces along, Ament downs it. Ament takes off through the middle, defended by Zanella, and Zanella takes it away. Pass intercepted by Chernychev. Chernychev lifts the leader for Ukamadou. Ukamadou racing but not going to get there, and the goalie falls on it. Hey, do you guys know who the Framingham goalie is? And cleared up to midfield. Sent to the outside. That's Arpino with the ball. And ran out of room. This one is knocked out of bounds. And so I just learned that the goalie for Framingham is Kaylee Faulkner. I just want to make sure I learned her name, because she's already made some very nice plays so far today. Had a big save earlier that has kept the game scoreless as is. Framingham now working it up the far side and running out of room, out of bounds. But it was actually knocked out by the Brookline defense, I think. So I believe this will be a Framingham throw-in. Pass tapped back, now kicked into the box, booted away by Ament. Goes up to Ukamadou. Ukamadou taking off. Heading for the edge and picking up speed. Gets around Terranova, but Terranova not giving up the pursuit. Tries a crosser, walled off by Callahan, and Terranova clears it up to Zanella. Pass back to Terranova. Her pass intercepted by Eisenhower. Sends it forward to Ukamadou. Offsides called. Getting a little bit of cloud cover briefly out here at Skyline. It is a bright, sunny Sunday afternoon here in Brookline as this one goes off the head of Ament, out of bounds. Substitution checking in for Framingham, number 9, Caitlin Last, replaces Brooke Zanella. Last throws it in, bounces past her target. That's another substitution, number 2, Isabella Seacott. Now Brookline clears it out upfield. Taken by Arpino. Arpino turns around, passes it back to Callahan. Callahan boots it up the far side to Akanian. Akanian knocked away by Leshley, gets to Chernychev. Chernychev sends a pass up to Hammond. Hammond lost track of it, but fights off Carney to get the ball. Sends a pass across, knocked away by Terranova and recovered by Arpino. Her pass intercepted by Ament. Ament racing upfield. Ament still moving. Sends a pass through to Ukamadou. No offsides. Pass across, kicked away by Steenberg. Brookline just needed one more pass or one more move around a defender to get a clean shot at the net, but just didn't get it. 2 subs now checking in for Brookline, number 14, Mirabelle Kesselman, and number 20, Amalia Lindgren-Palm. They replace Emma Eisenhower and Amra Ukamadou. That ball knocked out of bounds along the sideline by Framingham. Throw in deep in enemy territory for Brookline. Throw in goes over Kesselman's head, and it's booted out by Terranova. And it's lost out of bounds. Ament throws it in off the head of Terranova, and that's going to fly out of bounds. Ament, another throw in. It's kicked out of bounds again by Terranova. Throw in this time goes back to Leshley. Leshley controlling it. Battling against Kopacz. She spins, finds some space, still dribbling through. Pass to the outside to Lindgren-Palm. Lindgren-Palm battling with Terranova. She has to pass away back to Ament. Ament crosses to the middle, pass forward to Hammond. Hammond spins off her defender, taps it back to Lindgren-Palm. Lindgren-Palm dribbling, sends in a crosser, gets to Hammond. Hammond fires, walled off by Callahan, and it's kicked away, recovered again by Ament. Ament sending a pass across to Shu and back to Hall. Hall up the far side to Freeze. Freeze's kick walled off and knocked out of bounds by Carney. Boy, I hope the camera work was okay on that sequence. It can be hard to tell where my screen is sometimes on the far right side, especially on a sunny day like today. Pass goes back to Hall. It's sliced into the air. Ament kicks it forward. That's going to go over the head of Lindgren-Palm. She's going to try and chase it down against Terranova. Keeps it in bounds. It gets around Terranova. Lindgren-Palm approaching. Crosser walled off by Callahan. Kesselman recovers and taps it back to Ament. Ament lifts one. It was deflected and caught out of the air by Faulkner. Faulkner punts this one. Kneed back by Chernychev. Pushed forward by Steenberg. Battle for the ball is won by Kesselman. Kesselman kicks one. That's going to be out of reach and go out of bounds up the near sideline. Terranova throws it in to Seacott. Lindgren-Palm trying to wrestle it away. Doesn't have the numbers. The kick was walled by Kesselman, but it's recovered by Kopacz. Kick gets past Shu, but Hall there to back it up and send a pass up to Freeze. Ball's knocked loose. Hard collision for it. And they're scrumming for it. The officials just letting them play. And Chernychev comes out of the scrum with the ball. Pass goes back to Hall. Across to Vianello and kicked upfield. Knocked out of bounds by Terranova. You know, I kind of understand not blowing a whistle on that play, as neither player really got ball and both of them kind of collided with each other. So just kind of a neutral play where it's not a penalty on anyone. Last throws it in off the head of Vianello, but they're going to call her for the push in the back. And so that'll be a free kick for the Flyers. Callahan boots it towards the box, off ahead and out of bounds. That one almost looked like a dangerous collision between teammates. That almost could have resulted in a head injury. Throw in, deflected back into the box, kicked out by Vianello over to Ament. Ament's kick knocked out of bounds. Deflected by Last. Throw in, deflects, collected by Kopacz. Kopacz tries to force a pass through. Scrum for the ball is knocked forward by Kesselman. Hammond had it, taken away by Terranova. Kick to the middle to Akanian. Now pass to Kopacz. Kopacz pops it up in the air back to Arpino. Arpino back to Callahan. Now over to Carney to the middle to Arpino. Arpino sends it up the far side, knocked away from Akanian. but gets back to Carney. Carney sends it up the line, finds a target. I believe that's Seacott. Seacott dribbling against Hall. Tried a crosser. It couldn't get through Hall, but it does go out of bounds for a corner kick. Corner kick to be taken by Arpino. Sends in a low pass to Kopacz, back out to Arpino. Arpino now pops it up in the air, knocked away by Lindgren Palm, up to Hammond, and a pass to the outside to Kesselman. Kesselman sends it to the middle but misses. It's taken away by Kopacz. Kopacz sends it forward, knocked away by Kesselman. This time gets it to Leshley. Leshley out to Shu. Shu's kick walled off by a Canian out of bounds. Shu throws it into Chernychev, tapped back to Shu and popped up in the air. Deflects back and forth, collected by Chernychev. Kicks it upfield. Collision for the ball, and out of it comes Freeze. Sidney Freeze off to the races. Freeze crashing, shot or a crosser, and nobody was there to take it. And we've now got a whistle for a free kick for Framingham anyhow. I'm not sure if they called Lindgren Palm offsides or if they said, or no, they might have said that Freeze went out the back end before she got the kickoff, and so that was that's a goal kick. Off the head of Freeze, off the foot of Terranova, over to Last. Last taps it back to Terranova, who kicks it up the line and out of bounds. Two subs checking in for Brookline. Number 1, Paige Hammond, and number 8, Juliana Siegel. They replace Anna Leshley and Vilena Chernychev. Ament throws it in to Paige Hammond. Got to specify there's 2 Hammonds on the field now. Vianello passes it back to Sherwin. Back out to Vianello and back to Sherwin. Now across to Hall. Hall kicks it upfield. Freeze tries to touch it. It's intercepted. Taken by Arpino. Pass to the middle. Gets it to Sullivan. Sullivan dribbling around, tries a pass, gets it to Kopacz. Now to the outside to Akanian. Dribbling towards the middle, passes back to Arpino. Arpino tries a kick, walled by Kesselman. And Paige Hammond knocks it loose up to Kesselman, who gives it over to Siegel. Siegel leading kick upfield. Nobody there to take it. It's going to be kicked away by Callahan. Out of bounds, Brookline ball. Throw in from Ament. Throws it into Siegel. Wrestled away by Arpino. Arpino sends it back to Callahan. Callahan kicks it away. And that's going to fly out of bounds on the far side. Brookline ball. No score as of yet here in the first half. No scoreboard clock here at Skyline. So we just have to rely on the official whistle for knowing when the half is over. Otherwise, no real way to tell how much time we got left in the half. Substitutions on both sides. Brooke Zanella back in the game for Framingham, replacing Caitlin Last. Anna Leshley back in the game for Brookline, replacing Kesselman. Hall dribbling with it. Lost track of it for a bit, and it gets deflected away to Akanian. Tries a leading pass, cut off by Shu, and passed back to Sherwin. Sherwin still dribbling. Kicks it up the near side. Terranova pops it up in the air. Ament boxing out Zanella and gets the out of bounds. Quick throw in to Leshley. Leshley surveying, dribbles away from traffic and passes it across to Hall. Hall sends it upfield for Hammond, gets to Hammond. Hammond pass to the outside to Ament. Big gust of wind blowing through here at Skyline as the pass now goes up to Leshley. Leshley dribbling, passes back to Ament. Ament back up to Leshley, who's got plenty of space to work now. Dribbling up the middle, still going. Now sends a pass, misses, intercepted by Sullivan. Pass up to Kopaz. Her pass intercepted by Shu and kicked upfield. Arpino chases it down, boots it back. Shu takes it again, knocked away by Akanian. Akanian up the field, misses her target. It's taken by Vianello. Vianello turns around and sends it back to Sherwin as Lombardo was applying forward pressure. Pass out to Hall now, and back to Sherwin. Sherwin boots it upfield, bounces past Terranova, kind of ricocheted off Lindgren Palm's face, but she does recover it, dribbling up the middle now, sending a leader down the far side for Freeze. Carney gets there first. Freeze fights for it, and she gets the favorable deflection. It's going to be a corner for Brookline. So I don't know if Brookline has scored on a header yet this season. They haven't in any of the games I've covered, but of course there were a few games I missed. We'll see what they do here as this one flies into the box. Headed by Leshley, missed wide. Leshley scored, I believe, 10 goals over the past 2 seasons as a freshman and sophomore, many of those coming off headers. She's only got 1 goal so far this season, and it was not on a header. But that doesn't mean Brookline's not going to keep trying to go back to her on those plays, because they know how strong she can be on those plays when they set them up right. Leshley knocks that one away, gets to Lindgren Palm, pass across to Hammond, now knocked away, and Sullivan takes it, boots it upfield. Chased down by Hall, pass back to Sherwin. Sherwin tries to pass up the middle, intercepted by Zanella. Swooping back and knocking it away was Paige Hammond. Good hustle by Hammond on that play to make up for a mistake on the outlet pass. Now a big shot from Kopaz sails just high. So Framingham with a couple of big chances there. Good hustle by the freshman Paige Hammond to make up for an errant outlet pass. And then good job by Framingham to set up the shot for Kopaz, but just came in high. Vianello pass over to Hall now. Hall turns back around, sends it back to Sherwin. Sherwin out to Vianello. Apologies if the stream is a little choppy at points. The Wi-Fi's been sort of good and then not good at times. Long leading kick. Callahan knocks it out of bounds as Lindgren Palm was in pursuit. Substitution coming in for Brookline, number 23, Jamison McGee, replaces Nora Shu. Throw-in goes to another sub that I didn't see. Number 17, Lila Cannon, is in the game, having replaced McKenna Hammond. Couple passes, and it gets to Leshley. Leshley turning around, charging in herself. Leshley trying to break around the defense. Leshley charging in. Shot saved by Faulkner. Knocked. Still a loose ball, and Faulkner manages to just barely fall on it. My camera missed a little bit of that play, but a good charge by Leshley. Just a very limited angle on the shot. And Faulkner deflection. Kopacz runs over Leshley and is called for the penalty. And so this will be a free kick for Brookline. Looks like they're setting up Ament to take this one. Ament, of course, one of Brookline's typically designated corner kickers. So they're probably setting her up to send one into the box for someone else. She sends one in low. It's pushed forward. Knocked back. Lindgren Palm dribbling in. Tries to send one through. It deflects wide of the net. I believe that was off the defense. Sorry, my camera got a little out of control there. It was knocked by an out-of-bounds ball. Just setting up for another Brookline corner. Kicked in. Still in the box, but it's rolling away, and it's knocked out now by Kopacz, who sends it upfield to Last. Last sends it back to Terranova, kicked upfield. And Hall, the last line of defense, keeps it away. Oh, dang, I see what happened here. Camera got knocked unsteady by that ball. Sorry about that. Camera angle got a little messed up that time. Yes, that looks good. Throw in from the far side, bouncing along. Hall kicks it. And McGee sends it forward despite the forward pressure, gets it to Freeze. Freeze kicks it through a hole. Racing after it is Leshley, but it just bounces away from her, and it's booted away by Terranova. Off the head of Kopacz, deflects into open space where Kopacz swoops in and takes it, sends it to the outside for for Zanella, excuse me. Zanella back to Kopacz, a give and go to Zanella. Zanella tries to send it through the middle. Scrum for the ball, knocked loose. Clearing kick was walled, but it's knocked right back to Sherwin. Sherwin punts it across midfield, headed by Callahan. Downed by Carney. Carney kicks it upfield. Hall tries to knock it upfield, and it's taken back. Another golden opportunity for Casey Kopacz. Good reflexes by Julia Sherwin. This will be a corner chance for Framingham, but Sherwin keeps a goal off the board. Julia Sherwin really been one of the great stories of this season for Brookline. Her improvement in net in her first season as the team's goalie has been a sight to watch as this one comes in, knocked down off the post. Oh my gosh, how did Sherwin track that one? Julia Sherwin with a couple of big plays to keep Framingham off the board. Lindgren Palm's kick walled down by Terranova. Kick to the middle. Bounces all the way to Kopacz. Kopacz a pass to the far side. Knocked away by McGee. And Hall manages to boot it out of the box, but it's taken by Zanella. Zanella pops it up high in the air. And an offsides call against Framingham. So again, Julia Sherwin picked up goalkeeping this past summer, and she took over as the starter for a varsity team that had seen 3 straight years of having a college-level prospect in between the pipes in Juliana Anastopoulos and Talia Thompson. And Sherwin has improved drastically as the season's gone on, as that's going to be a hard shot from Hall. No whistle. Framingham fans not going to be happy about that one. I guess the official said that she got ball before the hard shot. So a throw in for Brookline here. Knocked back, kicked back and forth off the head of Kesselman. Kopacz recovers, sends it forward, booted away by Vianello. Up the middle to Cannon. Cannon surveying, tries to get a leader to Ament. Ament does take it despite the pressure. Gets it to Leshley and back to Ament. Now back over to Leshley. Sent back to Kesselman, who's back in the game. And we got a whistle. Oh, I think this is an injury timeout. An injured Flyers player coming off the field. Trying to see who that is. I think was it Seacott that got hurt on that one? Either way, certainly hope that's nothing serious and she'll be able to return to the game soon. And we got a call for a trip against Framingham. And Brookline rushing the free kick as Leshley just sends it back to Vianello. Now up to Ament. Ament barely manages to get around Zanella. Zanella dribbles towards the middle. Pass to Siegel. Siegel dribbling. Sullivan, good defense with help from Kopacz, takes the ball away. Pass knocked away by Ament, gets up to Leshley. Leshley got a little too fancy there, tripped over the ball, taken away by Seacott, so it wasn't Seacott that got hurt. I missaw that completely. Vianello passes back to Sherwin. Sherwin back out to Vianello. Vianello racing upfield with space to work. Still dribbling. Now sends one across to Cannon. Cannon fighting. Knocked to the ground. They say ball first. Keep going. Leshley cuts off last and sends it back to Sherwin. Sherwin up to Hall. Hall dribbling. Still no, this is Kesselman, excuse me. Hall, I think, has been subbed out. Kesselman just racing coast to coast and now sending a pass out to the near side to Lindgren Palm. Lindgren Palm crossing it towards the middle, and it's kicked away by Callahan. Ament going up the near side, knocked out of bounds by Zanella. Ament throws it in to Leshley. Leshley dribbling around Seacott, sends one forward for Cannon. Faulkner boots it down, and that's going to be an over-the-back call against Siegel as she knocked over Sullivan. Kicked upfield by Callahan, and that is how the half is going to end. Halftime here at Skyline, and we are scoreless. Brookline 0, Framingham 0. During this halftime intermission, I'd like to take a moment for a local charity spotlight. I'd like to tell you about the Brookline Community Foundation. For over 100 years, the Brookline Community Foundation has been a trusted partner, supporting Brookline by investing in organizations and initiatives that help create opportunity and promote equity for everyone who lives, learns, works, and plays in our community. Among the foundation's many grant programs is the BCF Scholarship Fund for Brookline High School, which provides graduating BHS students with scholarships to help fund post-secondary education. As this scholarship approaches its 10-year anniversary, so far through the first 9 years, thanks to the generosity of over 140 donors, BCF has raised over $1.4 million in scholarship funding, and in just the most recent graduating class of 2023, they awarded over $180,000 to Brookline High School for scholarships. Your support is crucial to supporting Brookline youth as they embark on the next steps in their educational journeys. Visit brooklinecommunity.org or call 617-566-4442 to learn more about the BCF Scholarship Fund for Brookline High School and many of the other great grant programs of the Brookline Community Foundation as they work to make a difference right here in Brookline. Once again, brooklinecommunity.org or call 617-566-4442. And remember, as always, you can find all that information, link, and phone number for our local charity spotlight down in the description section down below, where you can also find a link to the official Venmo account of the Friends of BHS Soccer Booster Club if you would like to donate some money to Brookline High Soccer. But for right now, we are at half. No score between Brookline and Framingham. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan here at Skyline Park. I'm going to take a break and mute the mic, but I will be back with the second half of this ball game. Stay tuned. Hello again, back on the mic. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan coming to you live from Skyline Park in Brookline, Massachusetts, bringing you live coverage of today's high school varsity girls soccer contest between the visiting Framingham High Flyers and the hosting Brookline High Warriors. No score as of yet as we get started with the second half. Two teams switch sides. Brookline now on the right, Framingham on the left. And Brookline will get the opening possession of the second half. Number 9, McKenna Hammond, ready to get us started. And here we go. Pass goes back to Anna Leshley. Leshley passes it back to Nora Shue. Tries to send it up the line, out of bounds. It'll be thrown in by Sophia Carney. Throwing goes off the head of Shue, upfield, collision around the ball, and it's recovered by Sydney Freeze. Freeze running out of space, and it's knocked out of bounds by number 6, Madison Steenberg. Shue throws it in, knocked down by Steenberg, but Freeze swoops in and recovers. Freeze dribbling towards the middle, sends one forward for Hammond. No offsides. Hammond knocked away by Ava Callahan. It's going to go out of bounds down the sideline. Throw in goes to Hammond. Hammond dribbling, passes it back to Leshley. Leshley stolen away by number 22, Kira Akanian. Up the line and out of bounds. Brookline ball. Shue throws it in off the foot of Leshley. Freeze kicks towards the middle to Hammond. Knocked away by Steenberg. And out of the scrum for the ball comes number 13, Casey Kopaz. Kopaz manages to get a pass up to Alejandra Guzman, Morales Guzman. Stolen away by Anna Leshley. Leshley dribbling. Gets a bit of an opening. Jukes around Callahan. Now fires a shot, and it's going to roll well wide. Goalie Kaylee Faulkner setting up to take the goal kick for the Flyers here. Off the knee of Freeze and forward. A battle between Ella Terranova and Amra Ukamadu. Ukamadu recovers the ball, running out of room on the baseline, but she did not keep it in. So another goal kick coming up for Framingham. Kick knocked down by Freeze, recovered by Hammond. Hammond back to Chernychev, knocked over by Guzman, and that's going to be a penalty and a free kick for Brookline. Chernychev getting set up and waiting for the official to move the Framingham players back. Back to a legal distance. Chernychev getting set up. We'll see if they go for a shot or if they go for a high cross or even just a simple low pass. Lots of possibilities from a spot like this. Chernychev sets up, fires all the way out to the near side to an open Freeze. Freeze dribbling and spins the defender out of her feet, sends a pass into Leshley. Leshley knocked over by Kopacz in the box. That's going to be a PK chance for Brookline. And you could see Kopacz regretting as soon as the play ended and the whistle blew. They're setting up Leshley to take the PK herself. A chance to break the scoreless tie here. Shot in! Anna Leshley takes care of business and makes it a 1-0 game. Checking out the instant replay. See Leshley getting set up, and once given the signal, she just simply sent it low, far side. And Faulkner unable to react, and that made it a 1-0 game. Anna Leshley with her second goal of the season, this one off the PK. That will be a goal kick there as Haley Ament drew the favorable deflection off of Ava Lombardo. And I think it was actually Lombardo who was the one that came off injured in the first half. If that's the case, then it's good to see her back out on the field okay. Up the far side, a pass now to Leshley. Leshley dribbling up through the middle. Sends one back to Babette Hall. Now out to Nora Shue on the near side. Up to Freeze and back to Shue. Shue upfield to Hammond. Taps it forward, too far for Freeze. Kicked away by Callahan, out of bounds. 1-0 the lead for Brookline here in the second half. Freeze pass. Gets to Chernychev. Chernychev lifts one for Ukamadou. Ukamadou isolated. Ukamadou rushing in. Shot saved by Faulkner. Ukamadou the header saved again by Faulkner. Kaylee Faulkner has had a couple of really nice saves so far today. She may have been caught a little flat-footed on the PK, but she has done a lot of good work to keep this from potentially being a multi-goal lead for Brookline. Couple of headers and it goes to Hammond. Hammond pass misses Freeze and it rolls out of bounds. Throw in, knocked back by Hall, and it goes right up to Hammond, who leaves it for Freeze. Freeze taking off against Steenberg, turns around, sends one to the middle, knocked away by Callahan. Callahan corrals it, poked away by Chernychev, rolls right to Freeze. Freeze tries to send it forward, knocked away by Steenberg. Recovered now by Hammond. Back to Julia Vianello. Vianello up the far side, gets over the defender, but Ukamadou is sneaking past the defender and gets whistled for offsides. Callahan kicks it upfield, knocked down, recovered by Emma Eisenhower. Touch pass for Chernychev, who sends a leader down the near side, way down, and Freeze barely manages to keep it in bounds. Pass to the middle gets to Leshley. Leshley cutting up, going around one defender, battling with Callahan, sends a crosser through, and that one is knocked in! Amra Ukamadou. Whoa, the replay started going. I accidentally clicked it while clicking the scoreboard, but you see a nice Good ball handling by Leshley, and then she sends in the crosser. It was a bit hard to see Ukamadou there around a defender, but Ukamadou did move in nicely into the box to knock that one in. 2-0 now, the Brookline lead. Let's take a look at that replay again as we've got a timeout now called. Tapped over to Leshley. As you see, Leshley, good cut there around a defender. Stops, fakes out the last defender to get around. She decided to go baseline and go for a crosser instead of trying to give herself the shot angle. Sent it into the box where Ukamadou had smartly crashed towards the net and just knocked that one in. So Anna Leshley now with a goal and an assist today. And Amra Ukamadou now ties Sydney Freeze for the team lead in goals with 5. It was sure was funny when the goal was scored between the crowd of players in the box on that play and the bright sun. It was actually a bit hard. It took me a second to realize who it was that scored the goal. In the meantime, I'd like a little bit of feedback from you guys in the live chat. You may have noticed that my instant replays today are going at real speed instead of slow-mo. I found with slow-mo that sometimes doing those replays would just interfere with, like, you know, when the game was resuming action. And so I switched to real time so they would get played a little faster. But let me know what you guys think, if you prefer slow motion or real time on the instant replays when I show them. Let me know in the live chat. 2-0, the Brookline lead off the goal from Amra Ukamadou, assisted by Anna Leshley. And Brookline getting right back to work. Chernychev with the ball now, touches it over to Leshley. Leshley back to Vianello. Vianello upfield to Ukamadou. Ukamadou disrupted, stolen away, kicked upfield. I think that was Zanella on that play. A race to the ball, and Vianello comes away with it after the hard collision. Vianello dribbling against pressure, passes it back to Hall, and now back up to Leshley. Leshley dribbling, knocked loose by Akanian, and they call Akanian for the push. So this will be a free kick for Brookline. Cherwin takes the free kick, bouncing along, stopped by Callahan. Callahan sends it upfield to Arpino. Arpino, long leading kick aimed for Lombardo. And she manages to get a kickoff and score! Ava Lombardo seemed to have no angle there, but she manages to get the kick. Just barely managed to get around Vianello and kick that one far side post. And it's now a 1-goal game. So Ava Lombardo off the assist from Gabby Arpino makes it 2-1 as Framingham answers right back. Boy, if you're Coach DeFusco for Framingham, that's exactly how you wanted your team to come out of that timeout that was called after Brookline's second goal. Long leading kick from Anna Leshley off the head of Callahan, and now off the head of Carney and booted out of bounds by Carney. We do have our first note in the live chat from Lucy Blanchard. Shout out to Chloe Price from Maryland. As Freeze gets around Carney, sends in a crosser, goes off the post and out of bounds. That'll be a goal kick. So thank you for the comment, Lucy. Of course, giving a shout out to Brookline's backup varsity goalie, as well as a part-time starting goalie for the JV and freshman squads in freshman netminder Chloe Price. That kick is going to draw a penalty call against Chernychev for the push in the back. And this will be a free kick for Framingham. This kick to be taken by Callahan. Callahan kicks it in low, knocked down, and they call a handball on Chernychev. And this is going to be another much closer free kick for the Flyers. And this kick is within that sweet spot that a free kicker can score directly from. Not too far to make it from that on a shot, but also not so close that the wall of defenders is right in your face as the official sets up to walk the Brookline defenders back to a legal spot. This kick to be taken by Gabby Arpino. There's the whistle. Kick sailing in high over the bar. It is a prime spot to score from, but it's a lot easier said than done, getting it in precisely the right spot, especially on a windy day like today. And so now it will be a goal kick for Brookline as Cherwin simply gives it to Vianello. Now over to Hall, out to the near side to Shu, deflected away from Shu, battle for the ball. Out of the scrum, Chernychev manages to send it back to Shu. Shu still being pressured by Akanian. Akanian sends one across. Didn't run out of room on the baseline, but it is scooped up by Cherwin. Rolled into Vianello. The Flyers bringing some next-level energy here as they want to complete their comeback. They touch that one to Lombardo. Lombardo passes it back. Kopaz sends one across. Akanian touches one towards the net. And it's taken off a couple hops by Cherwin. Punted up to Hammond, back to Eisenhower. And that one's knocked away, but it is recovered by Ukamadou. Pass over to Eisenhower. Eisenhower sends it across out of reach for Chernychev. And it's going to be a collision. Ball up in the air. And another ricochet. Freeze comes out with it. Freeze racing up the near side. Freeze gets around Arpino. Dribbling in, crosser through. Deflected away by a defender. Chased down by Leshley. Leshley touches it back to Eisenhower. Eisenhower knocked away from her. Back to Chernychev. Chernychev pops one up into the box. And knocked back out. Gets to Callahan. Callahan boots it away. Ament chasing after it. Now Ament dribbling up, kick knocked away by Terranova, up to Arpino. Arpino to the outside, intercepted by Brookline by Jada Kimbrough, who is checked into the game. Brookline corrals it, pass over to Shu. Shu kicks it upfield, up to Callahan. Callahan boots it away over the head of Hall. Hall trying to corral it, but Lombardo wrestles it away. Lombardo, a shot wide of the net. And that's going to be a goal kick for Brookline, but Ava Lombardo coming out strong here in the second half. She does have Framingham's lone goal so far, as Cherwin simply gives it to Hall off the goal kick. It's passed across to Vianello. Vianello sends it back across to Hall. And Hall out to the near side to Shu. Shu up the line to Freeze. Taps back to Shu. Shu sends a leader upfield. Gets to Hammond. Hammond touches it along for Freeze. Cut off by Steenberg and kicked out of bounds. Throw in from Shu. Goes up to Freeze. Freeze back and down. Now dribbles, cuts towards the middle. Slide tackle by Carney. Knocks it loose and it's kicked away. Recovered by Shu. Shu taps it back to Hall. Hall turns around and decides to send it all the way back to Sherwin. Sherwin boots it upfield. Kicked back by Terranova to the outside and out of bounds. Throw in off the head of Kimbrough, out of bounds. Throw in for the Flyers now. And Vianello kicks it out of bounds, still Flyers ball. Another throw in coming from number 9, Caitlin Last. Throw in off ahead into open space. Chased down by Leshley. Leshley sends one forward for Kimbrough, trying to race after it. Battles with Callahan. It's knocked out of bounds. And it's going to be a throw in for Brookline, but Callahan collided hard with Kimbrough, and Callahan's down hurt. Boy, if that, regardless of how long she might be out from this injury, that is a tough loss for Framingham. Ava Callahan has been hustling from that center back position throughout the day. And they got the coach and trainer out looking at her. They appear to be checking on her leg. This isn't an especially warm day, so the odds of a cramp aren't extremely high. She is walking off on her own power, which is a good sign. Walking off a little slow, but not looking terribly hobbled, so hopefully it's not anything serious. Throw in from Ament. Headed down, kicked away by the Flyers into open space. Vianello gets there first, turns around, sends it back to Hall. Hall back up to Vianello. Vianello dribbling, leaves it for Chernychev, who passes it back to Leshley. Leshley turns around, pursued by Kopaz, and she spins off of her. Leshley now off to the races. Leshley's pass deflected away by Akanian and cleared out by, I believe, Arpino. Now Kopaz recovers off the deflection and kicks it upfield, and it's going to roll out of bounds. Shu throws it in. And Chernychev tried to get a little fancy on that touch pass, but ran out of room, out of bounds. Carney throws it in over everyone's head. Shu kicks it over her head. Akanian disrupted by Chernychev, and it's taken by Freeze. Freeze sends it upfield for Leshley. Leshley looking, sends one forward, too far forward, and it's going to be scooped up by Faulkner. This one punted up in the air. Bouncing high. Downed by Chernychev. Kicked away by Zanella. It's going to go all the way back to Sherwin. Takes it just outside the box and passes up to Hall. Now this kick knocked away again by Zanella. And that's going to bounce out the back end for a goal kick. Pass over to Hall, across to Vianello. Vianello upfield. Popped high in the air. Off the head of Eisenhower. Now kicked upfield by Arpino. Knocked back by the head of Chernychev. Chased down by Zanella. Zanella kicks it upfield. Intercepted by Shu. Shu dribbling up with it. Sends it forward. Gets past Carney. Taken by Hammond. McKenna Hammond racing upfield. Battling with Carney now. Backing down. Looking. Spinning. Carney staying right with her as she passes it back to Shu. Shu now dribbling into the box. Looking. Kicks across her. Over the head of a crashing Lila Cannon, and it's snagged by Faulkner. Good idea for Brookline. Just kicked just a tad bit too high. Off the bounce, goes off the head of Kopaz. Now Zanella trying to kick it, lost her footing, and it's taken away by Ament. Ament racing upfield, sends it forward, deflected away, but it is ultimately recovered by Kimbrough. Touch pass back to Eisenhower. Now back to Leshley. Leshley up the far side. Kimbrough gonna chase it down, keep it in bounds, get around her defender, working up the baseline, sends a crosser, walled off by the defense of Arpino. Upfield, it's knocked back to Eisenhower. Eisenhower, against the pressure from Lombardo, passes it back to Hall. Hall across to Shu. Shu stops, looks around, sends it back to Hall. Now across to Vianello. Now back to Hall. Back to Shu. Shu manages to get a pass upfield to Hammond. Hammond to the middle to Chernychev. Give and go leading for Hammond. Hammond racing against Arpino. Pass back to Chernychev, disrupted by number 14, Aranza Ramirez. And Chernychev forced to wall off the attempted clear kick. This will be a throw-in for Framingham. Substitution for Framingham, number 11, Lexi Sullivan comes back in, replacing a player whose name I hadn't gotten to say yet, number 15, Georgia Murphy. Throw-in comes in high, off the head of Leshley, collected by Hammond. Hammond taps to the middle, off the foot of Chernychev, and collected by Zanella, popped up in the air. Is going to fly out of bounds. And a substitution for Brookline, number 14, Mirabelle Kesselman back in the game, replacing Emma Eisenhower. Throw-in knocked down by Sullivan and wrestled away by Kopaz, kicked upfield. Touched forward by Lombardo. Lombardo chasing after her own self-pass. It's knocked out of bounds. They say last touch by Brookline. Throw-in deep in the Brookline end for the Flyers. Substitution for Framingham, number 14, Ramirez checks out. Coming into the game is number 2, Isabella Seacott. Sullivan throws it in for Seacott, but it's taken away by Chernychev, passed up to Hammond, stolen away by Carney, gets to Seacott, now to the outside for Sullivan. Sullivan gets knocked over by Hammond, and that is going to be either a throw-in or a free kick. They are going to say free kick, which I think is the right. So Carney setting up for the free kick. Interesting angle to be kicking from here as Carney pops this one towards the box. Off ahead, booted out by Chernychev, but not very far as it deflects off Carney, rolls out of bounds, Brookline ball. Throw in from Shu, deflects down, Sullivan with it, and Sullivan tripped up from behind by Chernychev, and that's going to be another free kick for Framingham. Arpino setting up for the free kick. And the official might come in or might not, as Arpino pops this one towards the box, headed away by Leshley and corralled by Kesselman. Kesselman working it up the far sideline. Met by, I believe, Seacott as it's knocked loose. Taken now, I think, by Guzman. Guzman working up the far sideline, gets around Ament, kicks it to the middle, knocked away. And it's cleared out. I think Framingham fans wanted a penalty call in the box there, but officials say ball first. Now a long shot coming in off the hop. It's taken by Cherwin. Cherwin punts it down the near side. Knocked away by Carney, out of bounds. Throw in for Shu, deflects away from Sullivan, recovered by Chernychev. Her kick walled off by Seacott. Sullivan tried to get it, but ends up pushing it out of bounds. Throw in for Hammond, knocked away by Carney. Taken by Shu. Shu's kick walled off by Seacott, out of bounds again. Once again, no scoreboard clock here. I can't tell you how much time is left in this one. All I can tell you is that it's a 2-1 Brookline lead in the second half, and it'll end when we get the triple whistle from the official. Hammond kicks it upfield. Terranova kicks it right back, taken now by Leshley. Leshley sends it up to Kimbrough. Kimbrough gets past Terranova. Kimbrough off to the races, walled off by Steenberg. And Kimbrough kept up the pursuit, knocked it out of bounds, but that might have actually been a penalty, as the official appeared to be giving a bit of a warning to Kimbrough there after that play. So this will be a free kick to be taken by Arpino. This one bounces up the far side. Out of bounds off Guzman. Throw-in deflects up to Lila Cannon. She passes it back to Chernychev. Further back now to Shu. Up to Leshley. Now taken away by Kopaz. Kopaz upfield to Sullivan. Back to Kopaz. Now up to Lombardo. And Hall has to send it back to Cherwin, and Cherwin boots it away near side to Hammond, but it's cut off by Sullivan. Sullivan fights around a defender and fires a shot well wide. Subs coming in on both sides. Ava Sullivan back in for Framingham. Good sight to see for the Flyers that she appears to be okay after coming off hurt. And for Brookline, Sydney Freeze and Amra Ukamadu back into the game. Vianello, cross to Hall. Hall to the near side to Shu. Up the line for Hammond, cut off by Carney. Carney, pass up to Sullivan. Back to Carney. Carney dribbling, manages to get a pass away to Sullivan. Now that pass deflected out of bounds by Shu. Still Framingham ball. Carney throws it in for Lombardo. Knocked away. Gets up to Freeze. Freeze dribbling against Steenberg. Cuts back. Pass to the middle to Leshley. Leshley surveying. Taps it over to Hammond. Hammond kicks it through a tight window. Cut off by Callahan, but goes back to Ukamadu, but they call Chernychev for the penalty. You know, I mean, that's just sort of the standard in soccer. If you get to the ball first, then the penalty call is going to go your way. That's just how it works. Someone goes, if there's a collision, whoever got ball is the one who didn't go for the body. Off the deflection, it's Freeze. Freeze racing up the middle, sending a leading pass too far for Ukamadou, and it's going to be scooped up by Faulkner. And Faulkner kind of slices this punt. It's shallow, but it deflects off the shoulder of Hammond and rolls out of bounds. Carney throws this one in. Deflects into open field where it's taken by Lombardo. Kick across the middle. Out to Guzman, now out to the far side to Arpino. Arpino sending it up for Guzman. Guzman cuts back into the box, ran out of room, too much traffic, and Leshley kicks it up to Ukamadou. Ukamadou racing up the far sideline, winning the race, gaining the edge, slowing down, sending a pass up for Freeze. Freeze against Steenberg, cuts back, looking for somewhere to go. Now cuts back the other way. Crosser cut off by Faulkner. A good offensive push by Ukamadou and Freeze, but just not a lot of room in that space, and good poise from the Framingham defense to not give them anything easy. Off a couple of heads, it's corralled by Shu. Shu up to Leshley. Leshley stops, turns around, starts dribbling, got some space, starts moving in, runs over a defender. Shot is saved by Faulkner. More great efforts from Kaylee Faulkner as this ball is still in play. Kesselman sends in a crosser, and it's caught by Faulkner again. I thought for sure that one had gone out of bounds, but it had not. And they kept playing, and Faulkner made another nice grab. Off the head of Leshley to Freeze, pass out to Kesselman. Kesselman winds and fires, and it's going to be well wide of the net and roll out the back end. That'll be a goal kick. Subs checking in now for Framingham. I think I see Brooke Zanella and Caitlin Last coming into the game, replacing Guzman and Seacott, and we got one more. Replacing Arpino is number 14, Ramirez. Goal kick knocked down but kicked upfield by Framingham. Going to bounce out of bounds, Brookline ball. Shu throws it in, tapped back to Shu. Pass intercepted by Sullivan. Sullivan sending one forward for Lombardo. Lombardo has got a step and walled off by Babette Hall. It's going to roll out the back end. That will be a Framingham corner. Bit hard to see the corner with the crowd out there. Are they looking to swap out who's taking the kick, or are they just putting Lombardo by the kicker? It's a diversion as they send it in high. Headed away again by Leshley. Kesselman boots it upfield, knocked back by Carney. And Carney keeps forcing it, and now Sullivan takes it, sends it upfield, and now we've got an offsides call against Framingham. Hall not going to take the free kick as they're setting up Sherwin to take this one. So this one's going to be sent flying, no doubt. Boots it towards midfield. Slices off the leg of Chernychev, and Sullivan swoops in, wrestles it away, but Leshley kicks it back. Back and forth. Leshley takes it. Leshley now off to the races. Pass near side to Hammond. Hammond stops, kicks across the middle, knocked away by Framingham. And Lombardo fends off the defense, passes forward for Ramirez. Ramirez off to the races down the near side, trying to gain the edge on Hall, but Hall boxes her out, and it's going to be a goal kick. Another sub checking in for Brookline. Number 20, Amalia Lindgren-Palm, replacing McKenna Hammond. Cherwin gives it to Hall. Cross now to Vianello. Vianello kicks it upfield to Ukamadu, and that bounces off her foot out of bounds. Framingham ball. The far side throw in. Bouncing along. Vianello takes it. Jukes away from the forward pressure, pass to Hall. Hall kicks it upfield. It's knocked right back to Vianello, whose kick is deflected, but bounces upfield, taken now by Framingham. Pass forward, broken up by Vianello. And then I believe Freeze took it, passed it to the middle to Chernychev. Or no, not Freeze, excuse me. But Chernychev now sends a long pass up to Lindgren-Palm, cut off by Callahan, but Lindgren-Palm deflects that one and takes it back. Pass back to Chernychev, gets through her, back to Shu. Shu forward, over the head of Freeze, deflected and kicked away by Terranova. Headed back forward by Leshley, racing for it. Ukamadu ran out of room as Faulkner cuts her off. That is going to roll out the back end, last touched, I think, by Faulkner. And this will be a corner for Brookline. This will be a far side corner. Setting up to kick it is Nora Shu. Brookline still holding on to a 1-goal lead, but can they make it 2? Shu, a little shallow, but it does go off the head of Leshley. Now kicked by Lindgren-Palm, deflected, out of bounds, another corner. Good correction by Leshley. She was crashing towards the net, but then realized she had to race out near far side to keep that play going, as the kick was a little shallow. This one actually passed out. Chernychev launches one, deflects over the bar, and we've got an injured player down for Brookline. Ball might have gotten her in the face. Oh, that's Chernychev. The long kick in, I think, came from Ament, so that was my mistake on that. But Chernychev is back on her feet and is okay. Might have just, taken that one in the nose or something. So it'll be a goal kick from Callahan. Upfield, off the head of Chernychev. Now collected by Last, pass to the outside, disrupted by Ukamadu, out of bounds. It'll be Framingham ball. Terranova throws it in, booted back by Ament. And knocked back, but they're going to call the push in the back against Framingham. Free kick for Brookline. Kesselman sends one in low, collected by Freeze. Freeze dribbling against Kopaz, spins off her, sends a leading kick, goes over the head of Chernychev and out of reach, scooped up easily by Faulkner. Faulkner punts it, kicked back by Shu. Back and forth, it's booted up in the air by Arpino. Lombardo racing up to get it. Lombardo working near side, sends a pass back. Arpino launches it into the box, booted away by Vianello. Ukamadu sends it back to Ament. Ament upfield to Ukamadu. Ukamadu dribbling towards the middle, stolen away. Taken now by Kopaz. Kopaz backs down against her defender, pass to the middle to Arpino. Arpino backing down against Chernychev and draws the penalty. This is going to be a free kick now from a pretty decent spot. It is still very windy out here, which could affect the kick set to come from Callahan. There's the whistle. Kick comes in low, and it's walled back by the wall of defenders. Now she sends it into the box, headed away by Leslie again. She's been all over those crossers into the box defensively today, as Ament boots that one away and out of bounds. So now Vianello kicks this one up. It's walled down, but booted up further by Leslie and out of bounds. Throw in. Deflects and ultimately booted away by Leslie, out of bounds. Another far side throw in for the Flyers. Deflects back and forth, now a race. Ament gets there first. Boxes out the pursuing forward and kicks it out of bounds on the sideline. Throw in. Dribbling, this is Lombardo trying to cross her, but nowhere to go. It's walled off, out of bounds again. Framingham knows they've got to move, as they still trail by one. Kopaz knocked away, stolen, and a push in the back against Kesselman is going to draw the penalty. And there is your triple whistle. Brookline holds on and secures their fourth straight win. The final score, Brookline 2, Framingham 1. What a day for Anna Leslie in particular. A goal and an assist, as well as several great defensive headers on free kicks and corner kicks into the box. Truly a well-rounded game from the Brookline junior captain, and plenty of great efforts all around from the team. I mentioned the defensive improvement for Brookline. They still have not allowed multiple goals in a game since their September 21 game at Wellesley. They started out allowing multiple goals in 4 of their first 5 games, but since then have allowed 1 or fewer goals in each of the last 5 games. Brookline got the first 2 goals of the game, the first one coming on a PK from Anna Leslie after drawing a penalty in the box, and then the second one coming on this play here on the instant replay, as Leslie dribbled around one defender, back down on another, spun off her, went for a crosser, and it was knocked in by Amra Ukamadu. Ukamadu registers her team-leading 5th goal of the game, as she is now tied with fellow captain Sydney Freeze for the team lead in goals. Anna Leslie doubles up her point total, as she now has 2 goals and 2 assists on the year. Brookline improves to 7-2-1, while Framingham falls to falls to 2, 4, and 4 on the year. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Remember, if you enjoyed this live stream, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my upcoming live streams. Thank you to those who gave us comments in the live chat. If you would like to leave comments after the live stream is concluded, you can go down to the comment section down below. You can also go down below to the description section of this video for some helpful information, a link to the official Venmo account of the Friends of BHS Soccer Booster Club, which supports both girls and boys soccer at all 3 levels, varsity, JV, and freshman. You can show them your support through that link there. Also, you can find a link to our local link and phone number to our local charity spotlight, the Brookline Community Foundation. Find out about their many fantastic grant programs to help out the community here in Brookline, including the BCF Scholarship Fund for Brookline High School, which is approaching its 10th year anniversary. Also, you can go further down the description section or the bottom right corner of your screen for more information about me. You can find the URL to my personal website, jessesports.com. Find out more about me, the freelance sports broadcasting services that I provide to various teams, and how you can commission those services for your favorite team. Or you can skip past that and simply email me directly with any questions or requests you may have. And be sure to follow me on Instagram, where I post highlights from previous live streams. But for this live stream, that is going to do it. Brookline 2, Framingham 1. From Skyline Park in Brookline, Massachusetts, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thank you all for watching, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.